Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody, welcome. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. I'm Dr. Pat, and you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show. I've got a great lineup for you today. Just in a minute, you'll be talking with Glo Rod. Glo Rod, who is that? That is Gloria Rodriguez. And Gloria Rodriguez, is a Portal Journey ambassador. She began this in 1980. She loves what she does, and she loves it. One of her many highest excitements is to be of service. But today, you're going to meet her in terms of one of her greatest gifts. One of her greatest gifts, the freedom to choose. But more than that, what is it when we step into the true nature of who we are and we take on the conversations that we're just called to take on? Connect with Extraterrestrials, special guest Glo Rod today. But here's the thing, since the Pentagon report, we did a show in the Pentagon report the other day. Many of you said it's underwhelming. It wasn't necessarily underwhelming because there was some really important bits of information in it. Part of it was the conversation about blah, 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 no evidence. But if you looked at that report a little bit more closely, it talked about multisensory evidence. But my co-host today doesn't need that multisensory evidence because she's living multisensory evidence. And so what is it in the world that we're living in today? What is the meaning? What is the messaging?
Oh.
What have we so long tried to deny in the world? When you ask people out there, if you studies over and over, 1 million studies have been done, and they ask people the same thing. Do you think we're the only type of existence in the universe? Universe is 1 million universes. And most people are like, nah, we think they're like people on other planets, maybe on Avatar, maybe on whatever that planet is in Avatar. But people will talk to the fact that they may not know exactly what it is, but they don't deny the fact that their consciousness brings them to the place of acknowledging. Today, joining me here today, we're talking about connect with extraterrestrials, but we're talking to what the keys are. What is it that folks are now thinking and saying, especially with the Pentagon report that came out? And many of us thought there'd be a lot more in it. But the point is, there's an acknowledgement and awareness. Gloria, it's great to have you here today. Great to have you on the show. And we've got to get Gloria unmuted. What we're going to do, Benny and Malia, let's go to a short break. When we come back from break, here's the thing we're going to touch on with Gloria. When you live in this world and you're thinking about the connections, if you go to westportals.us, if you take a look at what Gloria is setting up, if you look at the 8 portals in the Western United States, if you look at what this is for her, what it's about, what it means to be of service, and you think about how things seem to be lining up and coming together in ways that humanity is still struggling with, then what you will learn by the end of this show is to embrace your true self. And in the process, understand the synchronicity of the orchestration of the life that is yours. Short break, Benny. Short break, Malia. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Thank you for tuning us in, turning us on. Yes, we're ready to do this show. Gloria, thank you so much for today. I've already done an introduction, and let's talk about connect with extraterrestrials. Let's talk about what we've learned are the keys and what some of the roles are for it, because we have a new level of awareness now. And I was talking about this in the first segment where I was talking about the fact we now have the Pentagon report. And the Pentagon report says things but doesn't say a whole lot. But the point is, there is a report. And the report acknowledges things for people that were not being acknowledged. I mean, but in your case, we're talking about a life's path with you to get a greater awareness of our relationships, extraterrestrials, energies, and other consciousness. And, one of the things you say, we are all well. We are all well and we are all one. How do we go about this? What are some of the keys?
Well, some of the keys are appreciation. And when you appreciate just the little things, so the extraterrestrial family has taught me the importance of the top three things to appreciate. One is air. We have to have air. We need water as well as sleep. So when we appreciate, when you wake up in the morning and you appreciate being able to sleep, you're actually peeling away that which does not serve you. And remember that the joy is in the journey, and the journey is the goal. So you've achieved a goal. It's very simple. It's very easy. And one of the keys is to appreciate. So appreciate the air that you breathe, or you wouldn't be here in the space-time reality. Appreciate the water that you drink. And when you take action, this minuscule action, you're actually making a change. You're becoming closer to your inner self. You're bringing awareness and linking to energy. And that's just one key.
When we're thinking about this energy, and let's just talk about it from what just happened to us today for a minute. There is an energy, and we have basically been given a few things that have been thrown our way. And some people have feel very comfortable in these past 18 months. They've gotten guidance. They understand the guidance. They understand the symbols. They understand what it means to be aware. But you see, even in what happened at the beginning of the show, right? I mean, if you're at the beginning of the show, and we run into this all the time. And so let me just tell you, whenever we're dealing with high vibrational things and content, inevitably, what happens is the bandwidth that we're trying to communicate on, or that we are trying to be communicated with on, is not strong enough, right? And I have come into this over and over and over again. Now, high speed fiber has helped, but when we peel away things, is the key for us a new level of awareness?
Absolutely. In many ways, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that new level of awareness.
About how
Go ahead.
There was a challenge at the beginning of our program. Many people ask me, well, how come extraterrestrials don't come and say hello to us? How come they don't appear right away? Well, one of the answers, and they have shared this with me, is that their energy level is so high, it would actually hurt us.
Yeah.
And they're not here to hurt us. They're here to help us and educate us. So it's interesting. When I look at the challenge we had this morning, I'm like, ooh, maybe there's too much energy between you and I.
Yeah, because we were ready for this conversation, right?
We were.
We are. We are. We are ready for this conversation.
Absolutely.
I just did a show before, and let me just throw something at you, and just have you come back with it. I have become recently acutely aware of different things in my environment, and how important it is to get to this place where I'm growing, where I'm learning. And I want to talk about this for a minute. When we peel away doubt, oh my gosh, Gloria, seriously, can you imagine what would happen if we could peel away doubt?
Oh, yes. And I have a story to share with you, Pat.
Please.
The end of May, I went to the extraterrestrial portal, and I was interested in creating a new video, an extraterrestrial portal journey video. And that was the goal. And also to meet individuals in the city where the extraterrestrial portal is located. So I walked into my room, and as I was passing the cabinet, I noticed the microwave. And the microwave had the number 222. And immediately when I saw those numbers, I became self-aware. And then I turned on the lights, and I noticed that the lamps were in a triangle. And that's a symbol to me that I'm in the right place at the right time. That's just a clue for me. And so I thought, right here, right now, I am linked to energy because everything is energy. And I just felt that my consciousness was expanded. So then I grabbed my iPad. I'm like, ooh, now's a good time to start filming for my video. So I walked outside, and I saw this image, and I started filming. And then I noticed static. And I'm like, oh, what did I do wrong? What happened? And I immediately accused myself of something that maybe I shouldn't have done. And I could hear my higher mind say, everything's all right. Do it again. So I saved that piece for the video, and I started filming again. And the static appeared again. And right then and there, I knew I was linked to my extraterrestrial family. And it was a feeling of welcome home. And it also gave me a feeling that they're making a cameo appearance in my video. Oh, look at me. Aha. And I was so alive and aware and just greatly appreciative that I was in the right place at the right time. And I was just ready to start filming and meeting these people and setting up an opportunity for individuals to experience the extraterrestrial portal as well. So, I mean, that was the first night within the first couple hours that I was there.
Wow. I wanted to just really follow through on what we're talking about here today, because there's a connection with extraterrestrials. And this is something that since the inception of my show way back, one of the first interviews I've ever done, we talked about things like having a quantum partner. I mean, there's been a lot of references, right, to ETs over time, but nothing more powerful than the Hollywood blockbuster movie, E.T. And you have to ask yourself this question, what's operating? What's coming first, the chicken and the egg? Is this Steven Spielberg's consciousness about creating a blockbuster movie like this? Or did Steven Spielberg actually get some information to give him the awareness of this? And, here's my question, because I don't know that there's a simple answer, but if we linking energy because everything is energy, then how do we guide ourselves on the pathway to become self-aware based on even the story you told, with looking at all the symbols that are being presented to us?
And there are plenty.
Yeah.
Absolutely plenty. For sure. Even walking around, and here I live in the town, and my extraterrestrial family has shared with me that this is a UFO airport. So the other night, I noticed something in the sky, and I'm like, I've got to film this. And I started filming it. And then people were asking me, look at the pictures I've taken. What does this mean? I'm like, they are here. They are around us. And whatever you're hearing from the governments, you have to really look inside and say, what do I believe? Because this is what I'm seeing. I've got pictures. I've got videos. People are talking about this. They're being open. And first of all, you just have to go inside and go, do I believe?
Yeah.
Do I trust? Do I respect them? because they are very, extremely, highly intelligent and filled with unconditional love and peace. So are you ready for that? And if you are, there's plenty of ways for you to connect to that energy.
Mm-hmm. You know, Gloria, look, this is really sort of an interesting time to be alive. I used to say that like a long time ago, but it's really an interesting time to be alive. You know, this is really where the tools and the awareness is available to us. But I really want to get to something that's so critical and so important. And that is expanding your consciousness and raising your energy level. Um, I don't know how exactly to frame this, but the thing I do know about it, and I'd love for you to talk to about it, is as human beings, we're extremely judgmental and judgmental of ourselves to the point where when we're talking about expanding our consciousness and raising our energy level, we think we're not enough to even do that. We're not at the place where we're receiving the gift to say, just start where you are. Tell us about the message behind expanding your consciousness and raising your energy level.
My extraterrestrial family has shared with me appreciation is one key. Noticing that you see numbers or symbols or animals. So, for instance, when I was in the extraterrestrial portal, I was filming a particular area, and I was like, no, it's not time yet. But I was ready, just like we were ready this morning. I was ready to start filming. I'm like, no, not yet. I'm following my heart. I'm following my gut. And I'm just like, not ready, not now. And so I went off and I did a couple of other things and filmed another area. And then I was like, my heart and my gut, and just I could hear my higher mind go, it's time. And so I went back to the place where I was going to film, and there was an animal sitting there. And I thought, I'm in the right place. I'm in the right time. So noticing numbers that pop up, noticing symbols, like I was talking about the triangle. The triangle for me is balance. I'm in the right place. And there was an animal there and watched me film and didn't move, just like watching me. So there are plenty of clues and plenty of signs, but you really have to just feel it and just know I'm in the right place. And there are people, such as myself, who are here to help you and guide you through all of this. And I have several participants who text me and call me and go, you wouldn't believe what happened. Like, yes, I would. It's a lot easier than we think. We just put so much pressure on ourselves. And I myself have been there, trust me. And as you were sharing with us during our first radio show, you had a challenge to get this task done, and you decided to go outside and shovel. But that was peeling away that doubt. You were releasing. And then you went in and you got your project done, and everybody was happy. Yes?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, this, let me ask you this, because this is really, I got to really tap into your wisdom here. Somehow we have fallen in to the notion that what we need is not really available to us to live an amazing life. That's not the way you live. It's not the way I live, but I have moments of doubt. And you're bringing the conversation to the street here to say, wait a minute, there's help on the way.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And it was interesting when I was creating my 13-month program, I didn't do it by myself. One morning I woke up and it's like, it's a team effort. Let's do this. And I could feel my higher mind. I call it my energy entourage is what I call it. Mm-hmm. And so I could hear my extraterrestrial family. I could hear my soul family and my spirit guides and my Kachina. I could hear them all going, it's time. It's time for us to work together to put together programs and journeys or tours and say, you know what? We have to remember the joy is in the journey. The journey is the goal. And as you're on this journey, you're achieving that goal. It is really that simple. And for me, when I first heard that, I'm like, it's too simple. And they're like, no. Watch what happens.
You know,
they've shared with me.
Yeah. Can you just talk to this for a minute? Because what you just said is so critical. Because there's a point of freedom in what you've just said. And I want to talk about that point of freedom. You know, there's this point of freedom that people are, my sense is people are feeling a little suffocated, like they don't have points of freedom. But you live your life from the point of freedom. And, you know, you're here to serve. And so when I think about what your message is and being here to serve, you know, I often wonder, and we'll talk about this when we come back from break. I often wonder, what if we really trusted? What if we really trusted, Gloria, right?
Well, I'm ready to go there. That's for sure.
Let's go. When we come back, we're going to get all over this, because I will tell you, if you ask me to give you statistics on the consequences of not trusting or the consequences of breaking promises, I can tell you what happens when we don't. But when we come back, I want to talk about trust. I want to talk about the many layers of it, the many facets of it. Interesting. I want to leave you with this to think about before we came back. I was going through some things in the garage because, you know, I moved into a new place and there are some books I don't need anymore. But accidentally, a couple of books made it into the pile of I don't need them anymore. And we're going through some stuff in the garage because I'm setting up my ping pong table. And out of one of the bags is a little pamphlet by Emmett Fox, and it's called Be Still. It's one of the many pamphlets he's written. But he talks about this be still, and he's notorious for taking psalms and things from scriptures and talking about the symbols of them. But in the end, this little be still, little teeny pink booklet is all about trust. When we come back, we're going to talk about what trust means and how much of a game changer it is. For those of you out there, Gloria, what's the best website? Westportals.us, is that the best one?
I would start with connect with ets.com.
Beautiful.
Connect with ets.com.
All right. Lots more to talk about, but trust, and what is it we're trusting in? If we trust in the revolution, if we trust, will we believe? When we come back, are you willing to trust yourself? Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. What a fabulous show, Glow, a Portal Journey ambassador, Glo Rod, Gloria Rodriguez, Portal Journey ambassador, to be of service. To be this ambassador began in 1980. And, if you take a look at what she's saying, whether you go to the website, connectwithets.com, or you go to West Portals, which I gave up before, westportals.us. It doesn't matter which one you go to. You're going to see the question and the message over and over and over again. And today we're talking about Connect with ETs, how you do this. What does it mean? And it's more than just this. Isn't this also for you a way to help people do this connection for the purpose of clarity, for the purpose of awareness, for the purpose of trust? It's more than just having a conversation about this. It's really for you. Isn't it about helping others understand some of the most confusing aspects of their consciousness?
Absolutely, Pat. 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, for myself, it's interesting how things come into our lives. So, for instance, with the book that you had by Emmett Fox, written back in 1934. Okay, yes. I was drawn to go to the internet, and I love going to the internet because I'm like, okay, what am I going to find this time? Because who knows what I'm going to find? And I was drawn to a movie, and this movie occurred in Italy back in 1950. And a group of people had an opportunity to meet extraterrestrials and were guided by them. Think about the trust back in the 1950s to meet these extraterrestrials. One was very tall, one was very short, but all they could feel was love from these individuals. And they just said, we're going to trust. We're going to trust that they came into our lives so that we could become better individuals and we could serve others through this information that they're sharing with us. And I thought, when I saw this movie, I'm like, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. And what year is it? 2021. And I'm like, oh my God, it's time to trust, because when you trust, you're going to grow and you're going to learn and you're going to really understand yourself, that you are a powerful, loving creator. I remember the first time my extraterrestrial family shared that with me, and all I could feel were my spirit guides and my higher mind going, yeah, flow in. I'm like, really? Serious? This is too easy. And they're like, go with the flow and trust. Because when you go with that flow, you're trusting that even though you have to go maybe a little further out and then come back in, it's going to be a better way and everything's going to be fine. All is well. We're united. We're one. And there's freedom when you take action, even if it's just to appreciate. But you've got to trust and just know in your heart, your gut feeling, that as you're getting guided. And again, that's what my purpose is here, is to serve. And for those individuals to begin trusting and realizing that they are so much more than what they see in that mirror, so much more.
You know, I did an interview the other day with Mark Anthony, with the Colonel John Alexander. And, you know, I did an interview with him. And, you know, if we go back and we take a look at who the Colonel is, and we take a look at what he's battled, what you have certainly come across and come up in your life, you know, because when you hold on to a truth, and you hold on to a truth that nobody else really is believing, right? I say nobody, and I say nobody because let's just say the majority. Let me just say the majority. And they believe it's some facet of what we're talking about, but maybe not all in. And then I think about one of the things I studied in psychology, which was fascinating. I never really did, Gloria, I never really did get to include this study. It just wasn't going to get past my board, right, to include it. But one of the things I looked at is trust. And what honest education or truthful, honest education is about. And I wanted to look at the phenomenon of how people trusted themselves enough to the extreme and what happened to them when nobody else around them trusted. So that was just one part of what I wanted to study. And I thought I'm going to pick one of the extremes. And there are two things that I picked. Neither one of them I got to study. One was to really explore and have a conversation with people that are diagnosed with schizophrenia. The other part, which there was never going to make it to my board, was to talk about the people that saw and experienced one of the most controversial things they could ever claim to see or experience, and that is extraterrestrial engagement.
Whoa.
Because they were extremes in the world of trust, because folks that trust themselves so much that they simply show up as themselves, right? Let's talk about this, because this is an aspect of trust that you teach. A truthful, honest education, right? The benefits of a new combination of energy composed of peace, freedom, unity, and support. And I was talking with the Colonel the other day, and here's the thing. I didn't get to study this phenomenon. It didn't make it into my work. But it didn't make it into my work because what I wanted to talk about is what happened to these people that was so truthfully honest in who they were. What happened to them? And what I was about to talk about, and I really want you to pick up the ball here, is most people, albeit Emmett Fox still got away with doing his thing, but most people that told the truth about what they saw in terms of ETs were locked up. They were put in asylums, and you still couldn't get them to change their minds. That is a phenomenon that even our judicial system doesn't know how to deal with. Isn't that what you mean by a truthful, honest education, but also standing in a place of purpose, freedom, unity?
Oh, absolutely. I have had many individuals come to me and say, well, should I trust the extraterrestrials? And I'm like, well, okay, let's look at the scenario here. We have governments who are covering this up. They've been covering it up for how long? And now I'm sharing with you that my extraterrestrial family and I have come together to create a 13-month program, this portal journey and other journeys, and we're working as a team. And they only share honesty. Why would they cover anything up? And looking back at this movie regarding the friendship case in the 50s, okay, this group trusted and they moved forward.
Yeah.
And again, I'm doing the same thing again.
Yeah.
We're going to move forward. We're going to trust each other because the extraterrestrials are very honest.
Yeah.
It's all peace. It's all love. And again, we can achieve a galactic unity community.
Yeah.
And again, it's all about trusting. How did you and I come together? I was on the internet and I saw the name.
There it is.
And as soon as I saw that, one of my favorite numbers is 13. And the number 13 means transformation.
Wow.
And I just trusted. I didn't even look and do any kind of Google search on you or anything else. I automatically trusted. I filled out the form, and you and I are here right now.
And I think that's got to be the power of the message and what we're talking about. And Benny, I think I want to skip the break. Malia, I think I'm going to skip this break. Look, this is the coolest message I could give to any of our new producers today. Benny's been with me 18 years. We have seen the strangest of the strangest things in the studio, right? We've seen it. We also know that even with the best audio video check for this show, the energy that shows up, if it is exactly what we're talking about, Gloria, right? If there's a level of self-awareness, if there's an ability for us to connect heart to heart and trust, if we stand in a place of believing, and then a little bit with me, and I'll talk to this and you could tell me how my energy may have tainted this, okay? And if you're me, and I know we're going to talk about this, and I have family in my life that everybody thought they lost their minds. I'm not kidding. Everybody thought they lost their minds. And what was fascinating for me is as I tried to tease apart that Pentagon report, right? Maybe you can help me with this. As we try to tease this apart and we watch people that we know or people in our family that may have had an experience other than Steven Spielberg people and were persecuted for it. Alcohol, drugs, nobody believed in them, an image they cannot forget. And then, what is it, 2 weeks ago? The Pentagon report. And I'm thinking, how many years did Aunt Margaret spend in an institution?
Oh, yeah.
You can't get that back.
Nope.
This is going to be strange, but I need you to put this in the context of what the ETs think. Was that a rite of passage for us? Did we have to go through that? And how helpful were they in orchestrating the Pentagon reports to come forward?
It's interesting that it took Donald Trump to say, I'm going to create this document. And this document is going to cover up the topic of extraterrestrials. And the topic was the COVID.
Mark Rubio from Florida. I think Mark Rubio, from Florida, like put the bug in there. I mean, how likely is that to have happened? I mean, think about this. You and I sitting here, Donald Trump, and I love your language, covered it up in a COVID bill. Most people don't know that, right? What is the likelihood of that?
Exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
You can't cover up anything in the media. But this zippity doodah, right? Take us to how. So here we are today. You know, a very dear friend of mine, she does a show with us. Her name is Dee Wallace. Do you know she played the mom in E.T.?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that deal changed her life.
Oh yeah. I
But
bet.
here we are, right? We got to get going. Tell us what we need to do. We got to get going.
We do. We need to, and again, like the extraterrestrials have shared with me, why they don't just show up. One of the things that, I mean, several of the things they've shared with me about why they haven't shown up is because it's easier for them to share their information with someone who is here, who understands what's going on, who has been through the trenches. Okay, so I'm like, for me right now, I'm like, I've had enough. I know they're here. I see their ships in this little town I live in. I'm like, enough. I've had enough. And for them to come in and say, we're here together as a team, and we're going to give you an individual, a leader who you would not suspect get this information out because it's. But again, you've got to trust this. It's time. It really is time. Enough people have said, I've seen this. Look at the individuals who we've lost. Look at the individuals who have lost their lives, by being imprisoned.
Oh, yeah.
Under drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
Look at what has happened. Enough is enough. And it's time to move forward. And even if it's baby steps, so like for instance, I have a questionnaire, and it's an ET compatibility questionnaire. It's a simple little quiz. Are you ready to take the next steps? Because if you are, then you should take action, because action really is freedom. And just moving forward and noticing that you're feeling better, you're feeling comfortable because you're done. You're done with all this cover up. It's time to grow up. It's time. And again, we are growing up. We're starting baby steps. And everything's going to be okay. It really is. It's not going to, it's a new wave. And you've got to trust and you got to believe. And it's interesting, when I was in the extraterrestrial portal, it's in a city. And as I was driving around the city, all I could see were signs going, we believe. So this city has actually taken control. They are saying, we believe in extraterrestrials. And this is the best place for you to come and learn more about them.
I have to tell you, there is a lot of conversation about the Pentagon reports. And for those of you out there, I'm kind of using the Pentagon reports. I don't know if they're called Pentagon report or not. I don't know what they're called. I think they're called the government UFO report. But if you I don't know, just Google Pentagon and you're going to see. So what you're going to find is the report says UFOs can't be explained. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So there you go. And then it says how the Pentagon started taking UFOs seriously. So then there's that. Then the UFO report says, and thank you, BU, thank you, bu.edu for this little article. The report says it won't rule out visitors from space. Of course it won't. I mean, what are you going to do? Say that UFOs exist, but then there's no people in them? And then what are we going to do about the people that have made claims? Gloria, I want to jump ahead to what you're about now, because what you're doing is you're building a pathway for a revolution. And it's a revolution of truth. Everybody kind of poo-pooed the X-Files, even when they did the movie, and they started to use the phrase, we believe, right?
Yeah.
But yet it had one of the largest followings of any television show short of NCIS, right?
Yes.
There is a next step. Tell us how we can be guided to the next step, because this is not just so we can have a conversation about it. It's so we can create the best version of who we are, isn't it?
It is. It really, really is. And I love the way you say that, because in this movie I saw, The Friendship Case, that was one of the goals that the group had.
Yeah.
Was, again, to move forward and to be a better person and to use this information to be guided, to really be guided, to be your true self, and to have the fun that you deserve. And it's all about freedom and taking action, even if that action is minuscule. But the action you really should take is follow your passion. Because the passion, when you follow your passion, that in itself has its own little toolkit, and it's amazing what will happen in your life. And again, I have so many options for individuals to receive the service that I'm offering, which is being very truthful, and it's believing in what is actually happening out there. I mean, this report, again, it's great that we have this report, but again, they're still saying, well, we don't know. Well, I don't know. When you come to this little town, it's a UFO airport, you cannot help but see UFOs and UAPs.
Yeah.
And we don't report them.
Yeah.
So think about that.
Well, one of the studies that I wanted to use in my research was the Hopkins study, Hopkins, Jacobs, and Westrom. And they commissioned a poll to determine how many Americans may have experienced it, and it's just Americans. And so they went through their poll of 6,000 Americans, and they went through this really in-depth study of this. And so once you go through and you become part of what they are, what they've done, and part of the poll, then of course there's also the criticism that comes from it. But what you find, though, is you find then people coming and really looking at the information. And so, then you come through and you say that, well, wait a minute, we've done this poll, but out of the poll, a percentage of the people we think have not been abducted. Okay, great. How about the rest? This is what I love about studies in this. How about the rest? Okay. And so we're in the world now where it doesn't matter what study you did, what study that wasn't done. This is an opportunity. And in the few minutes we have left, tell us what the opportunity is for us.
The opportunity offers you numerous benefits. One, to really embrace inner peace. And I have met so many individuals in meditation groups here in the town that I live in that just want to feel peace. They're tired of getting pulled. They're tired of being ridiculed. And it's because of the way we've been trained. And again, what I'm offering is to be of service. That's the contract that I signed when I said, okay, I'm going to be Gloria Rodriguez. And being of service brings such joy. And to see individuals feel that inner peace, you have no idea who's happier. I'm happier than they are. That may sound selfish, but to see them go through any one of these 3 programs and come out and go, I feel such peace.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It's the freedom and the joy, and I'm thinking, look what I did. But it's not just me. It's them taking action and going, I want to feel peace, and this is freedom for me. And to see them in that state, even if it's for a couple of minutes, I know that I was in the service. And that's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yes. Look, I want to thank you for joining me here today, and thank you for bringing the conversation to the forefront. And I don't know if they're going to reconsider some of the people that are still institutionalized in terms of what they said or what they saw. I don't know that many people that are in the world of psychology might even know about the implications of the Pentagon report. But you're out there and you're creating awareness, and I want to thank you. What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with? And again, tell folks how they can find out more about you.
Absolutely. Well, first, I want to share, I really enjoy humor and laughter. It was one of my gifts that my father gave to me. Humor and laughter will get you through anything. And this morning, at the beginning of this radio show, that's what was going on, humor and laughter. I would really love to share is there is freedom when you take action. And again, the action could be minuscule. To start off by saying, I appreciate the air I breathe. When you come to my website, connect with ets.com, you'll notice there's plenty, there are 3 sources that you can take action on to begin your journey. And it's all about believing and trusting we're all one. We're all here together. And knowing that when we achieve this goal, and again, the joy is in the journey is the goal, and you've achieved your goal. And we can achieve a galactic community of harmony and unity. And again, my website is westportals.us and connect with ets.com. And my name is Glo, and I'm here to be of service. And I was reminded by my extraterrestrial family last year, not once but twice, I signed a contract to be of service, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Thank you so much, Glo. Thank you for everything. Also, thank you all for tuning us in and turning us on. And again, for those of you just ping me on this, all you need to do is Google Pentagon reports. They have been officially released. They're very clear and upfront. The part that I zoomed in on, the fact is that there is evidence, multisensory evidence. That means multisensory evidence. That means multiple devices demonstrated and proved the phenomenon. That, to me, yeah, not a Russian satellite. All right, everybody, we'll see you next time.